Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Gabi. I'm a cloud architect here in Bosch Engineering Center. My main responsibilities are the infrastructure, security, and also the customer onboarding. And for this project, I was also a driver. So today I will present about the Bosch Digital Fuel Twin solution and also the Tour d'Europe initiative, which was a project that we took as a pilot. I will start with the context. So nowadays, 80% roughly 80% of the vehicles that are around the world and around Europe are using combustion engines. So I mean they are either running on HVO, so on diesel, and also other fossil carburants. And 20% of the vehicles, of the current vehicles, are running with electrical engines, or they have a hybrid combination. Well, from 2013, there is a trend and there is some expectation that the number of the electrical vehicles and also the hybrid ones will increase. But a good percentage, so roughly around 30% of the vehicles will still run with the combustion engines. And if you can imagine, for the heavy-duty vehicles like the trucks and so on, it will be really hard for them to switch completely to the electrical due to the range and so on and other limitations that they have. So the question is how we handle these kind of vehicles even after the 2013. Well, the answer is simple. There are some renewable fuels, and there is a possibility now to track as of now the fuel that is put in a car, and this is something that we wanted to demonstrate using the Tour d'Europe. Nowadays, what is interesting to find out that the current infrastructure is already there for these renewable fuels, and as you can see here, there are also some applications which can help you to find out where you can find these kind of fuels. What makes these fuels specific is that instead of a normal diesel, for example, in case if you put inside your vehicle the HVO, then the carbon footprint will be reduced, because these fuels actually have some additives inside which help you to reduce the CO2 emissions. And currently, you can already refuel, of course not in the area of Romania, but what was interesting to find out that in Spain and Portugal we had really good coverage, whereas, for example, in case of France, there was not so many filling stations that we could refuel with these special fuels. How the digital fuel twin actually works. So we start from the refinery. When we spoke with the refineries, from here we actually get the proof of sustainability. Actually, each fuel that it gets produced has a certificate which confirms the coefficients of the fuel, meaning you know the provenience of this fuel and you know exactly if it's something that can reduce the CO2 emissions or not. And from there we start by collecting this information. Then we also aim for offering the traceability of the fuel until it gets to the filling station, meaning usually you have a distributor which goes to a refinery, pick up the fuel, and then it delivers back to the filling station in order to sell the fuel. And then as a last player, we have the vehicle which actually refuel and put this fuel in the vehicle. And at the end, what you will get out of the DFT, and I will show later, it's a certificate where you can see exactly what was the fuel that was put inside your vehicle. Now, as an architecture, so on one side we had actually the tank farms, so the refineries that produces the fuel, and the distributors which were sending the data via API to our cloud. Whereas on the other side we had the part of the vehicle. So in case of the vehicles running in the Tour d'Europe, we had installed some ECUs with a SIM card for the network connectivity. And from there, we had a small software installed into the vehicle, which actually recognized if the fuel was put into the tank of the vehicle or not. And then after this recognition was made, then it was sent back to our cloud in order to detect that it was a refuel in the vehicles. On the other side, what was also interesting was we had some OEMs, some partners, which actually prefer to send via cloud directly. So meaning they have their own solution, they collect data from the vehicles, and then using our API, they directly send to us the refueling events. Now, in case of the CO2 certificate, let's make an example. Let's suppose 2 days ago, a refinery in Jucu produces a fuel. Let's say it's HVO, which has a lower carbon footprint and it reduces the emissions. Yesterday, for example, a truck came to the Jucu, pick up the fuel, and then it delivered back here in Grigorescu to the filling station. And then today I was with my car and I refueled, I put HVO inside my car, and then the process stops. When you get this certificate, you will have all the timestamps, which is important, so all the timings when these operations performed, and also for the movement of this fuel, because you can imagine if you move from one tank to the other, it can be mixed. Can be there some leftovers, like for example fossil fuel, like normal diesel and so on. So for us as DFT was really important to certify all the movements of the fuel until it gets back to the vehicle. And this we did. And we did really well. It was a big project with Tour de Europe. Tour de Europe was an initiative from Fuels de Europe. Our vision here and our mission was actually to orchestrate as Bosch all the activities, meaning besides the technical challenges, we had to also cover the part of the stakeholders to convince different customers that it's safe to send the data to us, because in the end we are in the cloud and you have to make sure that your data is not leaked and so on. So what we managed with the Tour de Europe, so we had more than 75,000 of kilometers driven. We also had 17 participating countries. As I mentioned, Spain was there, Italy was there, Portugal and others as well. And we had in total 16 vehicles, including passenger cars, which means we had some normal vehicles like that are used by every user every day. And we had also the heavy duty. So we had also the tracks to track. What we also managed to achieve here is 80% of this fuel was successfully certified by us. So meaning we issued these certificates to the end users, and more than 67% we managed to reduce CO2 by putting these renewable fuels. An interesting story was during the Spain and Portugal, I was happy that I had the coverage, so I managed to refuel with HVO only. But when I reached to France, I was really close to do, we call in Romania, pana prostului. So it means I was close to remain without any fuel. So I had to do a refueling into a filling station, which of course was not onboarded. We didn't know the source of the fuel. But anyway, this was also part of the tour. As I mentioned, only some 85% was certified in the end. So we managed to achieve the goal, and I managed to escape from this fault. Now here you can see some pictures from the tour. I was part of this. As an architect, actually, there is no other bigger rewarding than seeing this in action. Meaning you are there in the front line, you test this solution, you see how it works, you see the limitations, and in the end you can be part of the last pictures, and you can appear in videos and so on, which I also was part of. So now I will conclude my presentation. So I would say that Tour de Europe, it's about people, because technically, yes, we have solutions. We have cloud solutions. We have different solutions also for connectivity towards vehicle to the cloud and so on. But what makes this challenging was actually to convince everyone to align and to be together to this dream, and actually to show that these renewable fuels can also represent a future of mobility, not only the electrical part, which is a dream that I'm not sure if it will be successfully realized. Please, can you please show the video?
Okay.
Thank you so much. So that was all. Oare pasăm? Mai este un microfon, așa?
Ok. Bun, scuze că am zăpăcit. Dacă avem întrebări? Ok, Sebi.
Acolo, domnul. Da.
Deci, hai că mergem aici și lăsăm pe Sebi la final.
Short question. What type of cloud are you using? A private cloud from Bosch or something, or it's a public cloud like from AWS or Google or so?
Yes, it's AWS, so we use a public cloud.
Okay, because there are maybe some concerns if you're using the public cloud especially for security and so on.
Yes, and we had to convince actually all the players that we are safe with what we are doing. And by that, we introduce a data room concept, how to actually segregate the data from the moment of sending until it reaches and stored in our database.
Okay, thank you. Just one extra question regarding
Sure.
regarding the vehicles. Are you receiving certain information, for example, VIN or something? Are you processing the VIN of the vehicle? Are you processing location data or not?
So in case of the vehicle, for example, in the OM cloud situation, you know that there were two situations, one with the vehicle directly sending to us,
Yeah.
and the second one from the OM. In the case of OM, we got only the MAC address, meaning the VIN was never present. In our case, we generating a UUID for each vehicles when we do the onboarding.
Okay.
Actually, we don't care about license plates, about the VINs. What we care is what you mentioned, is the GPS location. But this one, we send encrypted version of it.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, thank you.
Good questions, thank you.
Ok. Sebi.
Okay, so it's first time I'm hearing about HVO. So how is different than biodiesel?
I think it's about from what is produced, because in the case of the HVO, what I saw, it's from cooked oil or something like that, extracted and made. I think it's about the source from where it's from the source that is inside the fuel. I'm not 100% sure because I was only part of the digitalization, actually.
And can we buy this from Romania?
No. Unfortunately, so we were in discussions. There were some starting discussions actually, but was nothing concrete yet.
Do you know if it's more expensive than?
It is a bit. Because also what I got when I visited one raffinery is that they, even though they have the infrastructure already there, it consume more time. What means, because if you have the fuel, they have to send to a certificator, and then it takes 1 or 2 months until you get a certificate, and then you can sell it. So it takes more time to be able to sell this type of fuel. So therefore, it's expensive then, a bit more expensive than the normal diesel.
Thank you, Gabriel. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you.